Good afternoon, at least for me, it's afternoon. I intended to do this video devotional this morning, but I'm still working away at getting some of the equipment that we've gathered up installed, and so I had to spend a lot of time on technical support this morning. The last few days I've been thinking about a psalm that Sarah and I have been watching some of the worship videos done by Shane and Shane, and in one of the videos he reads from Psalm 90, and that was several weeks ago. That's been playing back and forth in my mind, especially in these days where we have the Democratic convention and the Republican convention coming up, and we are inundated by people who, in order to get votes or to have their side win, both sides, Republican and Democrat, are saying unkind things about each other, sometimes outright lies about one another. And those of us that are watching on the sidelines, common sense tells us that what has just been said is not true or partially true, or once was true and now not true, and so we grow weary. We get shell-shocked by all of the ads and all the things that are being said back and forth, and we grow weary of it, and we wish that we didn't have this never-ending 4-year cycle where we have to endure this madness. It's more than a little bit revolting. And then we have the unrest that's still in some of our cities, and the tension of the election coming up. All that's going on around the world, and we wonder about what's happening. Well, Psalm 90 was written by Moses, and Moses didn't write many songs. Some of his songs are actually captured in the scriptures where they occurred, but this is a psalm that is recorded in the book of Psalms, and it's an amazing psalm written by Moses, and I really like it. I'm going to read parts of it today. Psalm 90. O Lord, you have been our dwelling place in all generations. In other words, doesn't matter how far back or how far the future you want to go in the generations of God's people, God is their dwelling place, is our dwelling place. Before the mountains were brought forth, or ever you had formed the earth and the world, from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. So that's the reality, that before there were stars, before there was moon or a sun or the earth, the world as we know it, there was God. From everlasting to everlasting, he is God. And Moses moves on from there and writes about us in comparison to God. You return man to dust, and say, return, O children of man. For 1,000 years, God, in your sight are but yesterday when it is past, or as a watch in the night. You sweep them away, the years. You sweep them away as with a flood. They are like a dream. Like grass that is renewed in the morning. In the morning it flourishes and is renewed, but in the evening it fades and withers. For we are brought to an end by your anger. By your wrath we are dismayed. You have set our iniquities before you, our secret sins, in the light of your presence. For all our days pass away under your wrath. We bring our years to an end like a sigh. The years of our life are 70, or even by reason of strength 80 or more. Yet their span is but toil and trouble. They are soon gone, and we fly away. Who considers the power of your anger, and your wrath according to the fear of you. So all the things that men and women are saying about each other today for the sake of an election, God knows the truth of. And He knows the secrets of all those hearts, all the Democratic hearts, all the Republican hearts, all the in-between hearts. God knows all the secrets. And they are clear before Him. And all those competitions and contests and all that's going on, those are over like that. But God lasts from everlasting to everlasting. So all the affairs of man are very, very puny, and when we start comparing them to God's existence, which will be like our existence when we leave this earth. So Moses goes on and he says, "So teach us to number our days, that we may get a heart of wisdom." Teach us to number our days, that we may get a heart of wisdom, so that we, the followers of God, will know what good priorities are. We will know what's important, and we will know that all this foolishness that's going on around, that will end someday. But you will not. But God will not, and those of us that follow Him will not. There are things that are life and death important, but politics is not one of those. Return, O Lord, how long? Have pity on your servants. Satisfy us in the morning with your steadfast love, that we may rejoice and be glad all our days. Make us glad for as many days as you have afflicted us, and for as many years as we have seen evil. Let your work be shown to your servants, and your glorious power to their children. Let the favor of the Lord our God be upon us, and establish the work of our hands upon us. So there's our priorities, and that's what makes sense out of everything that's going on here in the world, is that God's agenda and God's plan, God's decree, those are the things that are important. And within God's decree and God's plan is what He's doing in your life and my life. And He is at work in your life, and He is at work in my life. And we are to number our days and consider, what is it, God, you are teaching me today? What is it, God, that I need to be open before you about? Teach me to number my days, and teach me how to keep the kingdom of heaven first. That I'm more interested in what God is interested in rather than what man is interested in. Change is always a part of what we do, especially at this point in our lives. Our oldest son, Corey, and his cousin, they are in Colorado getting ready to transport Sarah's brother and his wife, and all their belongings to Michigan, where they're going to live with their youngest son, John. Well, that's part of the change, and I know that some of you are enduring that sort of change too, that now we're going to be with our son or our daughter, or we're going to be in some kind of managed care. All of that doesn't mean that God is done with you. God is going to continue to work in your heart, in your mind, conforming you to the image of Christ. And that's how we number our days. That we, whatever circumstance that we are in, we're allowing God to use His Word through the power of the Spirit to keep conforming us to the image of Christ. And that's going to happen right up until we take our last breath. So let's be encouraged today, not downtrodden. If you get tired of all the political talk, just reach out and turn that TV off and open up your scriptures and read and spend some time in prayer and pray about those things that you're concerned about as far as politics go, and then let them go. Because if we've prayed about them, we've entrusted them into God's care, and we can let it go. So knowing that whatever the outcome is, that's flowing from God's throne. Even if it means that we're going to be temporarily uncomfortable for a time. What God is doing in the world right now, I believe, is that God is rearranging the nations. And we see political turmoil in practically every nation. And I believe that God is realigning the geopolitical shape of the earth in preparation for that 7-year climactic end to the history of man. So let's be encouraged. Let's keep moving forward. and not be downtrodden by man or his history. So God bless you, and let's keep praying and let's keep looking up. God bless. Have a great week.